Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share with you how to make this beautiful Chesterfield pattern from Polymer Clay. That looks very 3D, but it's completely flat. And this is a veneer from a cane. This is the cane that we're going to make today. It's hexagonal, but actually it doesn't look like much. Even when you open it, it's still very abstract. So you really need to tile a few slices together in order to see the actual pattern. So I decided I will do a second tutorial where I'm going to show you how to turn this into a perfect veneer. But for today, let's first make this cane. And these are the colors we're going to use today. It's basically one color, red, and a shadow version of that same color, like a darker red, and a highlight color. This is almost white. It could be white, but I mixed the white with a tiny bit of that red. And we'll start by making these two blends. They're both 10 by 10 centimeters, and they're both a double layer of the thickest setting of my pasta machine, a level 0. And I left an offset on both sides, here and here, centimeter, to keep some of that pure color there. And also I fade in the darker color slowly. Here it's even more low than here. So we get a nice even gradient. And then we'll need some more of that main color of the red. And we'll also need some more of that dark color. And this one, I made it even a bit darker. And this is nice because we're going to use this piece for the outlines, and it's going to make the whole pattern look more contrasted and more sharp. So I will start by mixing these two blends, and I will turn them into a bullseye cane. And for both canes, we want the red on the outside. And these are two canes. I made them the same length and quite short, maybe 6 centimeters. And we'll start by cutting them in half, like this. And I'll mark that half all around to be sure to get a clean cut. And we'll start with one of these light pieces, and I'll make it back into a round cane by dragging these edges over and into the middle, closing the white in until we don't see it anymore. And then we'll take one of these dark pieces and we'll do the opposite. Rather than pulling it up, we'll push these edges down, and we'll push that middle up so that the dark color comes to the surface. So I made them both round and to that length of our other pieces. And then I will take some of our dark color. This is a thin sheet, level 4. And I will cut off 2 thin stripes, less than a centimeter. And of these stripes, I will erase the edges, making them flat on both sides. And the whole thing will get a bit wider. And then I'll position this piece here along that dark line, and I'll make a second one and put it on that line. So now we want to cut into our cane through that dark color with a blunt blade. So you could use the back of your tissue blade, but this is going to be a little bit dangerous maybe. So I will use this thin metal ruler. Could also be a credit card or something like that. And we will make 4 cuts, but we don't cut all the way through, but just inside, maybe half a centimeter or a centimeter, and this cut is facing a little bit towards me, down and towards me, and this one is down and away from me. And then I'll make another one here that is going very flat just under the surface of our cane. And the last one here away from me in the other direction, very flat. And all these cuts, they're positioned next to each other and they span over the whole width of that dark area. And then I'll push it back together, but you know, we can keep that groove and also a certain width here. And we'll make the back a little bit more round, but also we want to keep it a bit flat. So this is already the shape that we want, and I'll do the same with this one. And I'll make them the same length, and then we can put them together back to back on that flat surface. And then we'll take this piece of our dark blend and cut it in half again. So we'll have 2 quarters, and these quarters will go here and here. And we need to fill these gaps with some of our main color of the red. So I already made this roll here, and I will make it even smaller, and I will pinch it into a triangle. So as you could see, I was attaching these wedges to that triangle before attaching it to the block. And I was aligning these sides because we want this whole side to form one surface. So we can rest it on that surface and compress it a bit more, get all the air out and make it into a solid block. And now we're going to make the outlines that I was mentioning before, and I'll take some of our dark color. This is still a level 4, and I'll pinch the end here, make it flat, and I will position that on this, on this side where the light blend is, just below that middle. So I'll leave a little gap here, and I will trim off the excess and do the same on the other side. And then this side of the dark blend, we want to cover it with our main color, with the red, also a level 4. And this one, I'll cut it first because then I want to pinch both sides. Make it a bit wider again and make it really flat here. And then this piece will go on that side, like in the middle. I leave a little gap to the edge here and also to that dark color there. And I'll do that same on that side. And this is pretty much the whole cane already. The only thing we're still missing is this little button that's inside our pattern. And for this button, we'll use that leftover light blend that we still have, and I will morph it the same way as before to close off that white, make it round, and then I will wrap it in some of the dark color. I'll take a level 2. So this is our button, and obviously it's got to be a lot smaller. So I will reduce it to a length of maybe to a diameter of maybe 1/2 centimeter. So here it is. I was cutting it to that length of our cane, more or less, and it is gonna go here and here. So what we can do is to make this groove already that will take the button later. I'm using a chopstick here, and I'm just pushing it inside and making these edges a little bit sharp. Same on the other side. And now we want to divide this cane and rearrange the parts in a way that the button is going to be in the middle. And before we divide the cane, we'll make sure that it has a perfectly regular shape, which means it's symmetrical in this direction and in this direction, and all the lines are straight and parallel. And also what we can do here is to make this a little bit wavy. I'm making these edges more pointy and creating this curve here on the outside, like a drop or a mouth shape. And the pattern is going to look more dynamic like this. Okay, so now everything should be straight and regular, and we can make our cuts. And first we need to find that line here through the center, and then we'll mark the center also here, and here we will mark the width of our button. This is where the button is going to be, and then I'll extend these lines along the sides, and of this remaining side I'll mark the middle here, and I'll do that on all 4 sides. It's got to be parallel to all the other lines. So we have this point here and here and here and here. And now we connect this point here with that point and this point with that point. And these 2 lines should be parallel. And then we'll connect this point with that point and this point with that point. Again, they should be parallel and they should be crossing on that middle line, which is not the case here, so I will correct this a little bit. Don't be afraid to redo these marks. Just keep on doing it until you get the impression that everything is nice and symmetrical. And then we can do our first cut, and for this I will use this pointy sharp crafting knife, and we don't want to cut all the way through, but we just cut as deep enough so we reach that crossing point here. So we'll keep our blade inside the cane at all time and cut slowly along that straight line on the side. And I'll do the same here. Again, keep the blade inside the cane, make sure to reach that other cut so this whole piece comes off. Like that. And I'll do the same for this corner. And this remaining piece, I will just cut it in half, and I'll watch the back to be sure to have the half here too. Like that. And now it's important we're putting the whole thing back together as it was. Like the dark was on this side and the light, the main color, the red, was on the other side. And I'll mark the top here just in case we're mixing up something and losing our orientation. Because now we want to flip these two pieces and we want to flip these two pieces and putting them together like that. So this is already our hexagon, and we have a tunnel for our button. So I'll start with that button and this big piece with a dark blend. I'll rest it on this back side and I make the groove again with my chopstick, and then the button will go inside, but again this has an orientation because you remember we moved that white to the one side and we want that side facing our dark blend here, like that. Put it back up. Now it's good to have the mark here, and then we can join one of these pieces to that block and we'll align it on the outside first, because this is supposed to form one surface, so we can actually rest it on that surface and work on the middle, connect that middle to the button. Maybe I'll make this a bit longer actually, so it reaches all the way to the button. Make this a bit shorter. Again, align the outside. Yeah, now it looks much better. Put it back up how it was, and then we'll connect these two pieces, also aligning the outside. Rest it on that side and work on the middle a little bit. Like that. And now we can put the whole thing together, and again we'll align the outsides like that and like that. Now if this looks a bit wonky like it does here, it's not a perfect hexagon, but this is not a problem because we can correct that when we're reducing it. So after reducing, we want to have a perfectly regular hexagon, which means that all these sides need to be parallel and they all need to have the same width. So there's our finished cane. Again, it doesn't look like much now, but wait for next week when I'm going to show you how to slice this up and turn it into a perfect veneer. Thanks for watching and happy creating!